Hey and welcome back, guys. So according to our agenda, right, we are done with all about setup page. This is all about .Net Maui, which is the mobile app on both Android and iOS. So now we're gonna do part one of a version updates feature. I know you've seen the videos regarding web API or MVC talking about version updates, version updates, version updates. Like, what is a version update? So it's a feature for a reason, right? And this is the app currently running. I'm picking up from the previous video where we talked about this page. It's called setup page for a reason. So now I'm going to talk about the feature. So let me give you a little bit of the story behind the feature. Firstly, before we continue, please take a look at this YouTube channel of mine. You'll find it helpful, I know. And then all the videos I'm making right now showing off what to expect when I do this tutoring, when I do this, mentoring, you can expect all the videos upload to YouTube channel without any interruptions there, right? So we're gonna use this web application and then so I was on YouTube and I'm logged in with my account, right? And obviously while it was loading, it took about 3 to 5 if not 7 seconds out of nowhere where they filled the whole screen with a black background. They're telling me about this a family plan that I should try out. They gave me a free month trial, something like that. I can't remember, but it was like it filled the whole screen, literally the whole screen. You could not even do back, you cannot do anything. I was on my phone and there was only one button, which is at the corner, was X, where you can close that. I just love that how it was able to fill up the whole screen. I was like, you know what's the problem with all the apps? When you have identified the bug, people are taking too long to update the app. You know how we are, and you know how you are yourself, right? Cool. Then I developed this version update system, right? It's a feature, but it's a full system. It affects both web API, right? Version updates, controllers, v2 version updates. This happens on startup, right? I even have a table specifically for it in a database called version updates. There we go, right? And then also on the MVC, I have a version updates, some pages. Let me just show you some pages and we'll take a look at it. There we go. I have the pages. So on the mobile application, when you click this continue button, when you launch the app for the first time, so let me just do this. And I'm going to show this also on part 2 using the Android. So when you launch the app, that you can easily find on Google Play Store. So current the version number is, and I want you to understand something. The current version number that's been pushed to Google Play Store is version 228. The version number that's pushed to Apple Store is the current version. It's a version 229, 2 weeks ago. You see that different, right? Then I have this browser, this web application. So when I go to my tasks, right, and I go to version updates, there's a history of where I started and when I started, right? So let's take a look at it. I want you to understand this part 1, right? All about this feature. It's a very powerful thing, right? So if I go to where it all began, right, I had this version 1. You see this underscore, there's a reason why underscore. Please know that there's a reason why underscore, and then it became a bug until I fixed it. So you see this, because what happens is it cannot be like this. I cannot say let's say get /v and say 1.0.0.0. Oh, you can't do this. I'm just making an example, because when you're trying to do this via web API, it doesn't understand the dots. Dots are problematic. So what we do, I decide to do underscore transmit this guy via web API, and then the mobile application will resolve this, and I'll show you in a second, right? So now we are done with the setup page. So one of the things that it does when you click the button continue is that it's going to try LHT connectivity. I'm not going to get into this one where I check the state of internet connectivity, but the only thing that you should note is that I am trying this for both Android. This is the code that checks it. Do we have an internet connectivity that's active? For iOS, do we have an internet connectivity that's active? They're both performing differently, right? If that's the case, and if there's no exception, right? But if there's exception, we are causing the vibrate, right? And I don't know why I'm having cache and I'm having code. I'm sure you are saying, what on earth are you doing? But there was a reason why I had to do try, because when it fails, it's going to be caught here. And then it knows that if this is false, it will take care of the rest. That's how I did it, right? So I'm not going to get into this, but if a connection was found either from Android or iOS, if the connection was found, then we're going to do this for the first time. Then we're going to say initialize hub connection. This is a brand new feature for Signal. I'm not going to get into it, but check version updates. This is the method, right? When you scroll down, it's going to this method. Private, it's a private method. Static, asynchronous, it's happening asynchronous, right? Task, check version updates. It needs to do this all the time, and there's a reason why. So the first thing I do is try and cache block. If there's a problem with the web API, it's going to track the issue. It's going to cause the device to vibrate. It's going to stop the bit indicator. It's going to show you the error message, and it's going to go to no connection page if there's a problem. But if we did find something, right, this way it starts. It's going to check the platform, right, to say what is the platform. In fact, I feel like I need to do part 3 of this. Okay, but let's go slow by let's take it slow, right? So the platform is empty, and then we need to check the platform in which the app is running on based on the device. So device info, it's a very interesting tool from Maui essentials to say, listen, is the platform iOS? If it is iOS, what I need you to do, I need you, basically what this is going to be just this, iOS. But if it's Android, it's going to do Android. I know the values here, right? I just don't like it having to code, to have them in double quotes as a string. I love reusing the code, right? So what it does is say, okay, this app currently is running on iOS, this is going to execute. So the platform will be iOS. So we are done with that part. Then it's going to say, okay, there's a property called the version updates model. So it's a property, public static version updates model. It's a property. So let me quickly go to it. Models, startup, this guy. So in here, I'm having 4 things that I'm expecting back from the web API all the way from the database. Data comes from a database. It goes through the web API. The web API tells me information, right? So for example, how does the data end up in a database? It ends up in there based on me doing add. When I add a new version, it ends up in here, but from a database. Then the web API say, okay, you are requesting a new version update, I'll give that to you. However, the way I'm going to give it to you is going to be in the form of the model, right? So there I'm expecting the version. Is it public? This is something that I've added recently. What is the release notes? And then when was it created? I want you to see this in action live. We'll do that, right? So now you understand this part. Let's go back. So we are done with that. It's a property, right? Then what's going to do after that is going to the service. Now the service is what is going to help me send a request to the web API and get the response. So let's quickly go to services, startup, version updates. So let's start with the interface. Okay, listen, we don't have enough time. This is part 1. I'm gonna go however long I can. I want you to understand how this feature comes together. I can teach you all of this for 25 Rand per session. That's a full hour. Any day from Monday to Friday. From 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. we are meeting on Microsoft Teams. Only 25 Rand. I'm gonna do this. This is the first part, and I'm gonna do second part, third part. I don't know. Just watch.